What's up, Star Wars CCG community? It's your host, Fatty here, Season 2, Episode 2. The topic is knockout punches. We're talking about 1 or 2 card combos that just make the game over, that the opponent has to pick up their deck and say GG, whether that's a battle with 50 damage and they have to lose their whole force pile, or another trick that they have no counter to. There's a whole bunch of them, and I'm going through my top 10, my personal top 10, of course. Comment below some combos you've used, and you'll get entered to win a starter deck. We're drawing the starter deck winner later in the video. Don't you dare skip ahead every second. Well, actually, watch this video at half speed. That's how important it is. Anyway, I'm not talking about combos like 3,720 to 1, Never Tell Me the Odds, Anger, Fear, Aggression. Those cards, those aren't combo cards. Those are sucker cards. Those are sucker punch cards. Force Draining in the Clouds. Force Draining on Dagobah in the Clouds. Asteroid Sanctuary. Those aren't combo cards. I'm talking about battle cards. Tricking your opponent to attack you. Stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, number 10 on the list. I thought this warranted a spot. It's out of commission. You know, during your control phase, use 2 force to release a starship held by... Nah, just kidding. That isn't the good part of the card. Randomly select 1 card from opponent's lost pile or blaster rack. I wonder if that's ever been put into use. But randomly take 1 card from the opponent's lost pile and place that out of play. It might not seem like a big deal. Yeah, it counters retrieval a tiny bit. But if you just started the game and you maybe force drain them 1 time and they lost a Vader, or they had a duplicate Vader in their hand, or 2 Emperors and they lost it from the top of their deck, you place that out of play. And they can't play him for the rest of the game. It's pretty much GG if they're running a mains deck. But obviously later on in the game, once they already have Vader on the table and they have 20 cards in their lost pile, it could be a little harder, much harder to pull off. Still pretty good later on in the game because you can cycle it. Make sure you get a 5 Destiny. All in all, if you pull it off, I've seen it pulled off in the Premier through Hoth tournament where somebody hits their Vader right out of play, or hits their Tarkin. Boom. That's the whole game swings. I could just see calling GG right there. Out of commission. Deserves the 10 spot because this card can shut it down in 1 second. Number 9. And this is a 2-part, and you guys saw this one coming. It could be worse. So, a lot of times when you're playing, especially the early sets, you can get down to 4 or 5 cards left in your deck, and you have a little drain battle going on. But if you have 1, it could be worse in your deck, you win the game. You basically win the game because you can cycle your it could be worse, cancel one of their force drains, draw it next turn, and guess what? They're draining you for half of what you're draining them. Oh, but wait. What's the catch? Of course. You saw this coming. It's worse. It's worse. Could be a lot worse. Especially you play this card in your control phase, so you have all your force activated. You can see times where this hurts 20 damage. And it's not the worst card ever because it's always make them lose 1 more force type card. So it's not completely worthless. If you're playing a Premier through definitely Premier through New Hope, Premier through Hoth tournament, maybe throw one of these in sometimes. It can hit. I've seen them hit, and it basically the game's over, especially if you're powering up like 15. You got the Death Star out, you got a couple planets out. 1 hit, boom, knock out. Knockout. Number 8. A little card called Fallen Portal. This card is a beast. Is a monster, and it only got stronger. Target 1 creature or 2 characters. So you can target 2 characters, up to 2 characters, that initiated a battle or attack against you at Backdoor, Rancor Pit, Tatooine, Jabba's Palace, or any docking bay. That's the treat, because once you get to Death Star 2 or even Endor, everybody's running a million docking bays because they give them so much force generation because they pull them out. They pull them out every turn. So you're going to be battling at docking bays. So if somebody tries to battle you at a docking bay, especially if they have troopers or some low ability, low defense characters, say they attack you with 2 troopers going to use like their trooper assault or something, you can knock 2 of them out. They might not even get a destiny. Throws the whole battle off. Or if you've been tracking destinies, you can make their Vader lost easily because you only need a 5, and you could track, basically you're out of commission. Or if you have a lot of light side decks do have a lot of destiny adders and high destiny numbers anyway, that throws off the whole battle. They have Officer Evax and Vader, and they try to attack you, and all of a sudden it's 2 power versus 10 because of Fallen Portal. Pretty amazing card. Pretty big swing. That's why it's at number 8. I've seen it do some real big damage. All right. Let's get to number 7. Oh yeah, the Dark Jedi Presence or the Jedi Presence. This is a monster of a card. A lot of these cards are from Premier and New Hope and early sets because they're very swingy cards. They're crazy niche cards that you only can use in certain situations, like this card. If one of your Dark Jedis or Light Jedis is present during a battle, use 1 force to double all Imperials there at the battle. So if you have a ton of troopers or you have your Tarkin, Evax, Mahdi, and a couple of power 2 things, you can get 20 extra power. Your power can literally be 40. You can drop, if they have just a few characters and they're not expecting this and they do the math in their head and they think, well, he only powers up 7 or 8, and then they drop a Vader and 5 stormtroopers and trooper assault, and then they double the power of everyone. Suddenly they're sitting with 40, 45 power, and you're sitting with 10, and you have to lose the difference. Then, I mean, I know light side characters have humongous forfeits, but still, you're going to lose 20 force. Game over. GG. That's all it takes. Dark Jedi Presence. Love the card. Love when it's pulled off. Light Jedi Presence also. I love when it gets pulled off. I've seen more Dark Jedi Presence played, but maybe that's just the games I'm watching. I've seen Light Jedi Jedi Presence pulled off a few times too, but I've seen Dark Jedi Presence pulled off more times just because of Trooper Assault and stuff like that. All right, now we're getting into one of my personal favorites. We've all made decks around it. We all love the Surprise Assault. We all love the Counter Assault. 1 force to cancel a force train at any location. Pretty good. Draw 1 destiny for each character, starship, and vehicle the opponent has present. Oopsie. Compare the total destiny with the total power. Player with lowest total loses force equal to the difference. Okay. Remember when you didn't have a deck, when you didn't have any cards to make a good deck, and you thought, I'm just going to make a Counter Assault deck. I'm just going to make a Surprise Assault deck. You know, those were some of my first decks. All the Destiny 6 cards I could find, all the Destiny 5 cards, a lot of Biff Shuffles, every single Intruder Missile I could find or stuff like that. Just get my 6s and 7s, especially before Special Edition. It was all just about 6s that I could cycle, get about 50, 40, no, 30 of those cards, 10 Counter Assaults. Start with the Jajaric board or the hologram board as your starting location, and just sit there and drain them for 1. And anytime they try to force train you, you draw this, and then they have 5 power there with 2 characters. Whoops, 10 force lost, 10 force lost. It's an insane card. Granted, obviously Sense and Alter cancel a lot of these cards, but it's just insane. The one thing that I never realized until I started playing on Gemp was draw 1 destiny for each character, starship, and vehicle present. It's not at the site or at the location. So if they have a Star Destroyer with 2 characters on it and it's power 12, you only get 1 destiny because the characters on the ship aren't present. So it really nerfed it. I mean, I guess it was always the rule. I just didn't realize it. But so it really nerfs this when you're fighting space, especially against big ships, or you're fighting against Blizzard 1 or a Snow Speeder with Luke in it, because then you only get 1 destiny for each character present. So Star Destroyer's power 12, you're going to lose a lot of force. Really can't use it in space. So maybe there is a place for these in space decks. But it's just so fun to do, especially when they got a couple low power characters, 2 or 3 low power characters, and you hit them with a surprise or counter assault, and then they're scared to drain for the rest of the game. They're terrified. It's a terrifying card, and it can knock them out. Number 5, one of my personal favorites. That's probably why I ranked it so high. This card's so good, it got a nerf. So originally, it was target 2 starfighters at the same system, 1 Rebel, 1 Imperial, but now it's target 1 of your TIE LNs and a Rebel starship. Each player draws a destiny, but you get to add the power and the maneuver of your ship, and they only get to add the power and a destiny. So, taking out Luke in Red 5, Han in the Falcon isn't so hard if you have like DS612 in Black 2 or DS613 in Black 3. You got that big maneuver, and you're going to be having, you only got to draw like one higher destiny than them, and it makes their ship lost. That can be such a power swing in space, and it's so satisfying to destroy their fighter this way. Or especially if they're running generic X-Wings or something, you could just take them out just one by one. Used interrupt, that is even sweeter. Just right into your use pile. It really, it was really powerful until they nerfed it, obviously. Then you just had to run TIE LNs, and that's basically Black 2, 3, 4, and then what is that one in Death Star 2? There's not very many you can actually pull this off with anymore. Still an amazing card, can really swing the battle. And again, it's like one of those Fallen Portal type deals where you destroy one of their ships and then suddenly they have just a little Corvette there, and you're gonna overpower them. Maybe they don't get a destiny anymore. Especially if you can. It's really good when you can't get that frickin' Super Falcon under control. When they're running if they're running Han's toolkit, they can cancel this if they have a force. But if they have Han and Leia, and they're adding 2 destiny, adding 3 destiny, and you can't get them any other way. Talon Roll it is. Talon Roll it is. All right, number 4 is kind of a mixture of a few cards. Like Seek and Destroy. These type of cards where you put them on the table and the opponent has no answer to it. They just start getting drained and drained and drained. And it's like this one, you put it on the table, and unless an opponent occupies 2 battleground sites, they're going to lose 1 force every single turn. That's not your turn, every draw phase. Your draw phase, their draw phase. So it's 2 force a turn. It really, if they're running an all-space deck, this just happened to me, ran an all-space deck, they plop this down turn 1. Oopsie, 2 force every turn. Whoops. That's pretty much the game over there. I can't come back from this. And in that same vein, things like ability, where you lose 2 force every turn if the opponent has more cards out than you. You have to keep deploying cards with ability. It's especially good when fighting against mains and toys and things like that. When they're not running a lot of characters and they're running just the mains and then they have a bunch of interrupts. You throw this down, or you're playing against Hunt down. It's great to throw this down and they lose 2 force. Even with Seek and Destroy, you can make them lose 4 force a turn. So when you're running a specific deck, these can really throw a wrench in it, and it's pretty much GG when they get those down and you don't have a counter. All right, number 3, kind of the same thing.
Monster
Losing 2
combo.
force every turn. My favorite. I include this in every deck. I shouldn't say this in case someone plays me, but every time after Cloud City, I'm putting this in my deck. I know they have the interrupt, oh shoot, I can't remember the interrupt that cancels it. Dark Strike, I don't remember. There's a Clash of Sabers. There's a card that cancels it for the dark side that a lot of people run. But this card, Deploy on Vader, he's power +2. Okay, you gave him power +2, but doesn't add 1 to Destiny, so he's power -1, and he can't cancel Destiny. Amazing. But even more amazing is the opponent loses 2 force at the end of each turn, which Vader did not battle. So you just have your little Yoda on Yoda's hut, and guess what? They're losing 2 force every turn. It's just like that other one, and it kind of makes when you put down Vader, you have to battle. You better make sure you can fight, or you could be losing 2 force all game. I love this card. Very cool concept. Immune to alter. Maybe a little too powerful because you pretty much have to play the counter if you're running lots of Vaders as your main character. Number 3. Let's get into some fun stuff now. We have number 2, the Gick. The Gick. This messes up so many people. So many of those combos before us. The Gick, the Hoojiks. Cancel all remaining battle damage. Bam, immune to sense. No card cancels it. Well, almost, with an asterisk. Throw this down. They just dumped on you a Dark Jedi Presence. They just dumped on you Jedi Presence. They just had 50 power. They just did their shenanigans. I have to lose 30 battle damage. Guess what? Gick, Hoojiks. Sorry. Look at all this force they committed, especially if they commit to some place where they can't get off of. They put Leia down as a spy at the Death Star, and they dump Obi-Wan there and Luke, and you have one guy there just begging to be attacked, and they attack you thinking they're going to win the game. Boom, Gick, game over. Their guys are trapped there. Huge card, so frustrating. And the whole time when you're attacking them, you're like, please don't have a Hujix. Please don't have a Gick. Please don't have a Hujix. And then they do. Caveat to that. The Gick can also lose you the game. They might have a little draw their fire in their hand. So what I have seen before, or first strike, put this out whenever you initiate a battle, you retrieve a force, which is pretty sweet, and defender loses a force, great card, and the opponent must play one force to use an interrupt during the battle. So now their Gick is unplayable. I've seen this where people hold this in their hand and don't play it because they anticipate the Gick. They anticipate the Gick, and they hope that their opponent draws all their force pile, and then they play draw their fire, then they hit him with the 40 damage, and the opponent has the Gick in the hand, and guess what? That Gick in your hand cost you the game. Double-bladed, great card. Gick, draw their fire, both of those 1-2 punches. Can be huge. All right, let's get to number one. So this is going to be a little kind of two parts. So my number one things are, it's not I have you now. It's Destiny adders in general. I have you now. Add 2 battle Destiny if Vader's fighting Luke. Rug hug, things like that. Luke and Chewie in a battle. Add 2 Destiny. A gift of the mentor. They have a combo for everyone. Dark collaboration. Pretty much any combo of any of the main characters, they all have either Destiny adders or they have some kind of Destiny minusers, especially where popular in Hoth. But the Destiny adders can really add up to humongous, ridiculous, insane power totals. If you're getting into the 5-6 Destiny totals, I mean, that's just GG there. Plus these silly EPP characters are all adding Destinies. Like, you got Leia adding a Destiny, you got Han adding a Destiny. They're all adding Destinies. So you're getting 3 Destinies, then you're getting 7. Just the game is just over if you have big Destiny draws. But that, in combination with something like you overestimate their chances or don't underestimate our chances. These 2 cards are the ultimate number 1 spot for game 1 punch, game over. So you would use these. The whole idea with these cards is try to get your opponent to bait you into a battle. You could either do it with Fallen Portal, but especially with Destiny adders. I've seen this done. I've never seen it done with like Fallen Portal or something like that, but I've seen it done with with Destiny adders where they think they don't have a lot of power and they attack them, and then they have a whole bunch of Destiny, and you drop this down on them, triple the resulting battle damage of the eventual loser. So huge. Game's over. I told a story in a previous video where, I'll recap it, where my brother back in 1999 ran tag with a comlink, and he would sit there and wait for them to attack him, and then you just dump 20 stormtroopers down and trooper assault them, and then play this, overestimated their chances. Obviously it doesn't work because there's something fishy. Why would you have a comlink? But he never ran shields on his cards. So that was the whole bait. So you thought he was playing a junky deck. Anyway, this card, and then you can triple the result of don't underestimate your chances or reverse. So you somehow both are playing it, and you both are really cocky. You could both play these down, and you could have ×9 the battle damage, and then for sure the game is over. Had to end it on that one. That is the king of 1-punch knockouts. That's the list. Agree, disagree. Let me know below. Let me know your combo cards that you've pulled off or want to pull off. I would love to hear about them. I love reading your comments. Enter to win a starter deck for next week. I had so many great comments from last week. A lot of people said Tainted 4 was their favorite. Light side Imperial Capital Starship. A lot of people all said Spiral was their favorite. A lot of people said the first transporter is away is a lot easier to use if you're using Echo Base operations, because naturally you have to occupy the sites in Echo Base operations, and then you just move them onto the transport and then take them away with first transporters away. It only adds 2, maybe 3 cards total. I don't know, you probably need 2 medium transports and maybe 2 first transports away, so 4 cards in your deck. And it could be big time retrieve, like 4 times 2, 8 force, and if you got Bright Hope, it's 12 force. That's a pretty big deal. Great comments. Thanks for them. Keep them coming. And now, let's draw the winner for this week's starter deck. Okay, we have 73 commenters. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Harper Chris 2. Overall, I somewhat agree with this list. Defiance being so low has me questioning your sanity. But when you explained that it was a weapons deck, it ranked higher and only ranks this low on its own made me believe you again. I rethought this video, and actually I think Defiance should have been higher just because its ability is so strong and so fun to use, especially because it adds that to each weapon destiny, and sometimes some of the weapons draw 2 destiny, so it's doubled up. I agree with you, Harper Chris. Congratulations with the starter deck, you filthy animal. Harper Chris, your inspiration to all men. All women want to be with you. All men want to be you. That's the way it is. Enter to win a starter deck now. Now let's roast a random card, shall we? Got the list of 2,094 cards. Let's randomly select one. Oh, 220. We're going to be in the low side. We're going to be on the low side. We're going to have probably one from Premier. 220. What is this going to be? It's going to be a stinker. Light side Premier. Obi-Wan's cape. Oh, no. Oh, wow. This is going to be a good one. Obi-Wan's cape. Use 2 force to deploy on your rebel or alien. The character is immune to 5 or less than 5 attrition. Decent. Also, when a battle just initiated where present, may use 1 force to choose an opponent's character of ability 1 to move away. So basically, it's Obi-Wan in an effect form that, of course, can be easily altered because everyone loves to run the alters. Not as good. Vader's cape is much better, obviously. 2 force. It's not the worst card I've ever seen. 2 for destiny. A symbol of the noble Jedi. I like how he's dead. I like how they have the picture of that he. That's the best picture of Obi-Wan's cape. It's like he's dead now. Someone else can take the reins of Obi-Wan. I think it's a good. I think it's a pretty weak card. Scale 1 to 10. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. That's the video, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Next week we have a banger too. We have Jet Porkins reviewing the top 10 frozen yogurt stands. We have Wedge, who did it best. We have the who done it, who shot Jar Jar Binks, stuff like that. You know, all coming up. All right, guys. Peace.